Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So it's rainy season once again here in the Philippines. The southwest monsoons are upon us, and it's been raining a lot recently. So what do you do when it's raining outside? Well, one option is that you can go with your brushed, your tiny whoops or your micro brushed quads or your micro brushless, and try to fly indoors. But another option is just to rainproof your quads, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. Stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, I've just started disassembling my quad. I've just removed the connectors from the receiver from my FPV camera, VTX, and 4-in-1 ESC. Now, if you've seen my other video about rainproofing your quad, I'm gonna link that up here, and then you can just check that out. But it's a very ghetto and very basic way of waterproofing your quad. It's not foolproof, and if water gets in through the plastic saran wrap or cling wrap, then your quad's pretty much toast. So today we are going to be using this Corrosion-X, and it comes in a pump bottle, and this is what we're going to be using to truly waterproof our quads. And this is great for for removing corrosion. Also, it helps to protect your flight controller and all of your electronics. Yeah, so that even if they get wet, they're not gonna go short circuit, and they're not gonna damage themselves. Of course, this doesn't really guarantee, even if you have Corrosion-X on your quad, if you do get your electronics wet, it's still recommended that you dry them out. But it's at least that's one more layer of protection, so that even if you wet some of your flight controllers or 4-in-1 ESCs, you have that confidence that they're not just gonna break as easily as if you had no protection. So let's just go through it. So I've removed my flight controller. This is a CL Racing F4S, and my receiver, which is an XSR. I still have the XT60 connector soldered to it, and I've hooked up to one of my batteries. And so you can see that it is transmitting to it's communicating with my QX7, so I can get the RSSI, the LiPo voltage. It's at 16 volts. And yeah, so if I flick the beeper switch, you can see that it is still communicating. It is still working. So at least we have a baseline. It's working now, so it should be working afterwards. So we'll just unplug the battery, and then yep. So as usual, if you remove the battery, then you're gonna lose battery power to the receiver, obviously. So we're gonna apply Corrosion-X to this, and hopefully afterwards we're gonna have a waterproof flight controller and receiver, and we'll see if we can also waterproof some of our other electronics like ESCs as well. And yeah, let's go get to it. Okay, so here I have an old dishwashing paste container, which I've already cleaned, and I washed it, and it's already dry. And we need something like this just to contain the Corrosion-X liquid, so we don't get grease or all liquids all over our bench or our room or our floor. So we just need to dunk in, and we want to submerge completely all of the things, all of the circuit boards that we want to waterproof. So one reason why you might want to get the pump bottle instead of the aerosol is because you can unscrew the neck, and it's going to save you a whole lot of time, so that you can just pour this liquid in there and just coat all of that. So we're just gonna make sure that they're all nice and submerged. And also we also want the pump bottle, because you can't import into the Philippines anything that's aerosol, and that also puts conformal coating out of the question, because conformal coating is flammable. It's a flammable liquid, so it's really hard to import, and you can't import the aerosol version of Corrosion-X because it's obviously aerosol, so you can't import that. But you can import this this pump bottle. So we have that submerged, and we just need to make sure that it's all coated nicely. Kind of smells like some kind of food or something. Molasses. So you don't need to soak your electronics, you just need to dunk it in there and dip it, and then just you know, shake the excess Corrosion-X off of it, and then just, you know, let it dry. So I'm just gonna do the same thing to this one, and then I'm just gonna put it there. We're just gonna let it dry for a couple of minutes, and you know, we'll check on it. You know, some people recommended that you dry it for 24 hours so that the Corrosion-X really dries out. But we'll just give it a few minutes, maybe 10-20 minutes, until you know, it's enough time to dry that out, and then we're gonna test our electronics we'll see if we can dunk it in the water and see if they're now waterproof, right? Okay, so I've dried it out now for about 10-15 minutes, and I've also dunked some of my ESCs there. And yeah, so I've plugged in the receiver, plugged in the flight controller, just like before. You know, if I flick the beeper switch, you can see that it's blinking, but let's see what happens when we dunk it into this tub of water. Okay. So, you know, if I flick the beeper switch, you know, it's still working even after I dunked it in the water. I didn't even have to dry it with tissue. I just, you know, just shaked it off. And I think the problem is really with the connector, not really because of the water. So let me just plug that back. So yeah, if I hold that connector in, let's try doing that again. 16.1 volts. Right, so even underwater, it's still working. And I flick the switch. 14.2 volts. Telemetry lost, telemetry recovered, 11.9 volts, 11.9 volts. So again, we just shake out the excess water. So yeah, we just shake the excess water off of it, and then when I flick the beeper switch, it's still working. So I didn't have to use any tissue paper. You know, the water is obviously going to get in the way of you know, the flight controller and the receiver working, but at least you protect your electronics from damage, and it's not going to, you know, it's not going to hurt your flight controller if it gets wet. So waterproofing on my ESCs and my flight controller and my receiver is a very great success, and especially for, you know, for a very wet country like the Philippines, this is going to be very useful. So I'm just going to, you know, put probably just dunk it in some more Corrosion-X, and then I'll let that dry for about 24-48 hours. But as you can see, even after just drying it for 10 minutes, we've already waterproofed our flight controller and our receiver. But yeah, I'm just gonna apply some more Corrosion-X, and then we're gonna put it back into the quad, and then, you know, we'll fly a new waterproof Damon. Alright, so the quad is now waterproof. I've let the flight controller, all the ESCs, the receiver, let it dry overnight. So this is all good to go. So it's a very bright and sunny day. So, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, we won't be getting to test the waterproofness of this quad. But you know, it's we're just gonna fly today. So I hope this was useful to you. And if you like this video, click on the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and keep building and keep flying.
So I'll just talk slow. Yeah, I know you're mine. So I'll just talk slow.